Welcome to the Basketball Channel's coverage of the AAU National Finals from Louisville, Kentucky in legendary Freedom Hall. Alongside the guru Van Coleman, I'm Brett Grant, and we are courtside at Freedom Hall. And Van got some great basketball coming up all day long right here on the Basketball Channel.
That's right, Brett. You know, it's going to be a fun day. This is kind of a marathon day for us. We're starting with a 2:40 game here with Wisconsin Academy versus Baltimore Elite in the 16 under Super Showcase Gold. And then following this, we'll have another Super Showcase Gold game here in the 16 under group with King James going against UA Grind. And then we get to the big boys. We go to the 17 and under group in the Super Showcase Gold. We're going to have 4 quarterfinals this afternoon. That's going to be at 5:20, 6:40, 8 o'clock, and 9:20. Unfortunately, right now, those games are just being played to decide who's going to be in those, and we'll give people updates on the teams that are going to participate as we go through the afternoon.
Explain to me the different divisions. We got different age groups, number one. We also have a gold division, a silver division, a super showcase division. How are teams separated there?
Yes, and we'll even confuse you even more when we get into the national championship round because we have Division I and Division II. It's basically there are teams that compete at an elite level. That's the gold team. The gold structure is built for those. The silver structure is more the teams that are, you know, good but not quite at that same level. We will have a silver championship tomorrow. In the junior division that we will be playing, but it's more about the competition level, those kind of things is why we make that change.
In the game we're getting started here, Wisconsin Academy, based out of Sauk City, Wisconsin. They are in white, trimmed in blue, and then Baltimore Elite out of Ellicott City, Maryland, is dressed in maroon, and they'll jump tap. Mike Tersey from John Carroll School, a 6'10" kid, graduating class. All these kids are in the graduating class of 2016 or 2017, so they'll be incoming juniors or incoming sophomores going through, and the tap is controlled by Baltimore Elite, coached by Jeff Smith. He's one of the assistant coaches, I should say.
You know, this is the group that doesn't very often get on TV sometimes. You know, the younger guys get kind of left out of some of these situations. The AAU felt it was very important to give them an opportunity to be out here and be seen by folks on a national basis. And some of these teams will be teams that will be back next year competing for the national championship. And we hope right here on the Basketball Channel we'll have those games as well next year.
Daquan Bracey gets the game's first points, number 5. He's a 5'10" guard from St. Francis Academy. And there's a 3-point shot on the other side by number 10, Samuel Hauser from Stevens Point Area High School. A lot of these kids on Wisconsin are part of Stevens Point Area High School's team, where 4 or 5 of them are, and they're all from the Wisconsin area.
Nice
and the kids from Baltimore.
Look at that stroke.
Good looking swing. Yep.
All net.
This first game, we're just going to provide a little commentary as we're going through the game a little bit, give you a little updates of way things are going, and other games we'll call a full play-by-play just so people know. So there might be some spots where we're writing down some stuff and not talking very much as we go through. Standard high school rules here at the AAU Nationals. They'll play 4 8-minute quarters, and we'll have a standard halftime in there as well. 5 fouls per player, 17 fouls put you in the bonus, 10 put you in the double bonus.
And as we told people, we're doing 6 games today here, so there will be some times we'll have to take a little rest, or otherwise that last game we're going to sound like Bob Seger with a throat problem.
A little night moves action. Yeah.
Yes.
And if somebody disappears for a while, it's because they ran off to the restroom, or they found the hospitality room, which I know is probably a convenient thing for us. Another shot there by Bracey is no good, unable to be saved. We're early in the game here. Each team has made a 3-point shot. Biggest difference here, Van, in this division versus the older guys, obviously maturation is part of it. The size of the kids, physical strength of the kids. What else you see, though, difference-wise?
Well, I think more than anything, at this age, they're still listening. So we're going to see a lot of passing. We're going to see a little bit more structure at this point because everybody's not into that setting me up and going 1-on-3 or trying to isolate on every play. So we'll see a little more passing, a little more motion, a little more movement. And that's what makes it fun. The younger guys tend to have a little more structure to them. So it's one of the things that's the difference. The older they get, it seems that the tougher it is to keep that. We saw it last night in the games that we did. That'll be shown on Universal Sports August 1st. The first game, great structure, really hard played. Second game, a little sloppy, a lot of forced plays throughout the game. So every game is going to be different, but that's what makes it fun. That's what grassroots is about. That's what the AAU is about, is giving these kids an opportunity to learn how to play within a structure and then have fun while they're doing it.
Alongside Van Coleman, I'm Brett Grant. We'll be here all day long. We've got, how many games do we have on that board? 6 games on that board we're covering today?
Yeah, 6 games that we're going to be covering. We're going to be full calling 4 for sure, and that will be the quarterfinals. And here with the younger guys, we're going to kind of come in and out as we prepare for this marathon afternoon.
Nice basket there on the inside for Mike Turtsey, 6'10" junior from John Carroll School. He's got a big height advantage. The tallest player on Wisconsin Academy is 6'7", Tyler Barman. And there's another basket, another 3-point shot put home by Sam Hauser. He's got 6 points already for his squad, both of them from 3-point range.
You know, one of the things, and this is the interesting, you know, Basketball Channel is all about bringing you the best basketball available no matter what the season. This is a 12-month-a-year sport. And you can see that here in this early game. There's still 20, 25 coaches here in the gym watching these young kids play. I'm going to guarantee you later on, as good, my good friend Greg McDermott used to work for me a number of years ago. Doug McDermott dad, Dougie McBucket's dad, is down there in the corner watching these young kids play. I will tell you that later on we will have 100 coaches in the gym watching the 17 and unders play, because that's a serious time for recruiting. This is the group that they're going to be trying to sign up this fall in November and get to commit to their schools.
Well, we'll get a chance. We do have an extra microphone, so all your friends, as they pop it in, it'll be like, you know, stopping by Van's house. We have some conversations with some coaches. We had Johnny Dawkins sitting next to us, the head coach at Stanford, earlier in the previous game. And, of course, earlier this week, we had a chance to talk to Larry Brown. You will be able to see that interview later on, not only here on the Basketball Channel, but also on Universal Sports. We've got games, Van, that are also going to be nationally broadcast as well.
That's right. We're going to have a set of four games that will be broadcast on August 1st from 3 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Universal Sports. You want to check your local listings. You will get to see 4 of the top teams out of the Super Showcase and a special matchup games. And then you will also get to see the national championship games of both the 16 and under gold division and the 17 and under gold division as far as the AAU is concerned. That's the Division I, folks, the best of the best at the AAUs. You'll get to see that on Universal Sports on August 1st from 3 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And it'll also be repeated on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in 3-hour blocks. So if you miss that, you can still get to see those games on Universal Sports.
And get a chance to hear us call the games. And our first 3-hour block of games were BABC, a team out of the Boston area, against KC Run GMC. And then All Ohio Red and Team Charlotte. And then we've got the national championship games coming up as well. So it'll be a lot of fun coming up. And all those games, they are available on DirecTV. Also, Universal Sports can be heard and seen around the country on many cable systems. So check your local listings. If you have NBC Sports, you likely have Universal Sports as well on your local system for you there. 9-5 our early scoring, 3:30 to go here in the first quarter. A couple of substitutions into the game. One thing about these games, Van, that you see as well, it's obviously the teams want to win, but they rotate and they get everybody in all the games. The kids are playing.
Yeah, I think there's requirements that the AAU has. I know that everyone has to play. And everyone, I think, has to play at least 1 quarter. And so there is some of that. But in reality, with a lot of these kids, especially the younger ones, there's not a big separation. Maybe there's 1 or 2 guys that are at another level. They're going to be that mid to high major Division I player. Everybody else on the team is still in that learning stage. In other words, developing their bodies, developing their game. So it's kind of a come around in a circle thing. They're going to be very good players down the road. They get an opportunity now to really show that.
9-7 Wisconsin on top. They've made 3 3-point shots. There's a basket there on the inside from Bruce Moore for Baltimore Elite from McDonough High School. 6'7" kid. There's a good look at John Pop, Homestead High School.
So mommy was happy for that shot?
Absolutely. We're here to make moms happy, that's for sure.
No doubt about it.
Nice breakout, finish on the other end again by Bruce Moore. Good look at Bruce. Good size on him at 6'7". Checking into the game is Tarek Nasom from Mount Horeb High School in Wisconsin. Nisham, I'm going to say instead. There's a couple of tough names we got coming up later on today. I'm just going to.
Yeah, you're probably.
I'm throwing up a jump ball on some of those.
You're going to be doing the first name. We're going to give nicknames quick.
Absolutely. If your last name's not Smith, Jones, Jackson, or Johnson, I'm going to have a problem with it. Tie game at 9-9, a traveling violation there called on Nisham.
And like Meep on a golf course, I'll just go out and try to see if I can bash it once.
There you go, yeah. Swing hard in case you hit it.
That's right.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I always tell people when I play, I say, grab my shoes because they're coming off. I'm swinging hard.
The worst thing is when you don't hit anything and you do that.
Yeah, well, do your Happy Gilmore swing, I guess, right?
That's right.
You're watching live action from the 16U Super Showcase Gold Division at the AAU Nationals in Louisville, Kentucky. We are courtside at world-famous Freedom Hall. A beautiful move and a basket put up and good by John Pop, number 2, and he'll get the and 1. And Wisconsin leads. The Wisconsin Academy squad leads now 11-9. Free throw is no good. 1:45 to go here in the first half, or first quarter, I should say. There is no shot clock, so there's no hurry here for Baltimore Elite as they run through the lane. Nice driving shot there, no good, and the finish by Randy Miller. Couldn't get the roll to come home. And a full gallop the other way comes Trevin Anderson. Gives it off to Nisham. Into the corner for Pop, back to Anderson. Hop to the hole, and he'll get some free throws. That's Sam Hauser going to the line. 58.2 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. Game that's seen some fast break points, also some three-point shots thus far. We haven't really seen a lot of high-scoring games yet. And I think with this big facility, lots of empty space here in Freedom Hall. Free throw is good. Perhaps a little bit tougher to get used to the depth perception here at Freedom Hall. Both free throws are good for Hauser. Team based out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Home of UW Stevens Point. Team that is a school that has had great success in NCAA athletics. Nice driving move, again unable to finish though, and the rebound is put back and in by number 20, David Arabor from Mount Carmel High School, 6'9" kid. 13-11. We'll see if Wisconsin wants to play for one here. Kostrowski in the game. There's a three-point shot that's no good, taken by Pop. There's a shot no good on the other end. Rebound put up and good, and one. Bruce Moore, been a force. He's got 6 in the quarter. Chance for the and one. Game tied again with 12 seconds to play. Try and get you the guys on the floor for Wisconsin. Seth Kostrowski, 5'11" kid from Sauk Prairie High School. Out there, number 41, Trey Reckner from Mount Horeb High School, 6'3". Mentioned Tarek Nisham. Also John Pop. And number 24 is out there as well. That's Joe Hauser. I'm going to assume that Joe and Sam are brothers, and they're both 6'1". One's a freshman, one's a sophomore. We got a whistle and a foul at the buzzer. Joe Hauser at 6'6", part of the graduating class of 2018. Sam Hauser, 6'6", graduating class of 2016. Quarter comes to a close, but we'll get a couple free throws. Looks like at the end of the quarter. 15-13, or at least one.
Little confusion there from the referees, getting us all organized.
Yeah, good to have you back.
Well, you know, I'm just one of the things, and folks, we are going to come and go a little bit. Our situation is this. We are doing 6 games, and in doing 6 games, we still have some games that are being played right now that are going to be games 3, 4, 5, and 6.
We need to know who's playing,
and I'm trying to get that arranged. Right. And Megan, who's one of our assistants, Megan Devine, is now going to go find that out. And so we just want to make sure we get it all straightened out so that we can bring you the best of the best here. And then we still got Ben Tompkins sitting down here from us, taking care of things as far as stats and those kind of things. So I think right now we are reorganized. We are ready to go. And it's time to...
We're recharged, we're re-energized, we're revitalized.
To bring it out for the second quarter here on the basketball channel and be kicking some backside. You can see our schedule for today.
As you can see, we have 4 games that are the dreaded TBAs to be announced. 5:20, 6:40, 8 o'clock, and 9:20. That schedule might vary a little bit depending if you have a game that lasts a little longer with fouls or overtime. Our next game is King James against UA Grind. That'll be coming up just after 4 o'clock Eastern time, and that's our last game of the 16U Super Showcase Gold Division. Then we step up and we hit the junior division with the kids that are going to be incoming seniors, and we'll see the gym fill up with lots of college coaches. There are hundreds and hundreds of coaches here from every program in the country, Van.
You know, every program in the country, coaches of every level. Big name head coaches. We're going to see some guys here around courtside and be able to get some B-roll on them, as they say in the business, of some of the best of the best.
I think we know that guy down there as well.
And then, of course, down the way from us a little ways is Paul Swanson, who works with me at Hot 100 Hoop Scouting Service and is part of the Basketball Channel family. And he's doing a great job out here evaluating talent for me while I'm sitting here working the grind here on the Basketball Channel.
Now the grind, we play that. That's the grind is the next game.
I know they're in the next game. Yes, I know.
Let's get that down. Traveling violation called there on Seth Katrowski. Games 15-13, Wisconsin Academy on top of Baltimore Elite as we are in Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky. We did lose a syllable over the years. It used to be Louisville. Now it's Louisville and legendary Freedom Hall.
You know, the amazing thing to me is that I grew up for 39 years. It was Louisville.
Right.
I became the consultant to the Derby Classic All-America game. And the next thing I know, halfway through that, they changed it to Louisville.
Beautiful move by Daquan Bracey in the lane for 2. Tie game.
I guess in life, there's something new every day and something new to learn. That was one of the big changes. And if folks, we miss it once in a while, it's just old habits never die.
Well, we're both a couple Midwestern boys. I didn't grow up too far from here in St. Louis, and it was always Louisville. It was always the Louisville Cardinals, the Louisville Redbirds. From a baseball standpoint, it was never Louisville. And now all of a sudden it's Louisville. Like, all right. Nice driving layup there by Cole Schmitz from Verona Area High School up in Stevens Point, Wisconsin area.
I figure somebody must have figured out a way to make an extra $1.
Somebody just got lazy. They say, we got too many syllables in this word. Let's just cut one off.
Or they had a friend they didn't like that was named Louis.
Well, okay, but you go Louisville. All right, I grew up in St. Louis. Now it's St. Louis. All right, so there you go. So for me, it's really hard because I grew up in St. Louis. We don't say St. Louis. Gotta have a little fun with it, right?
Well,
does that make sense at least? Okay, at least for me, it's a lot harder from you. You're an Iowa farm boy. We can get anything by a root from Iowa.
You know, the way I look at it is if you teach us how to say something one way, it's never changing, baby. It stays that way.
The old school marms made sure we knew how it was.
I mean, we have one of our names that we're going to have to deal with later on in the day. One of the coaches told us how to say it right, so we won't embarrass ourselves with that one. But
I'm sure we still will.
That's what we have to do.
We still will. At least I still will.
You just stick with I Kenna when we get to that game.
Yeah, okay. Here's Schmitz. Nice drive down the lane. Just couldn't get it to fall. 17-17, a very competitive game here in the 16U Gold Super Showcase Division. Juan Bracey with the basketball. Let's talk a little bit about Baltimore's squad. We haven't talked a lot about them. On the floor, number 11, Khalil Richard. 6-foot guard from St. Francis Academy, number 13. Bruce Moore, 6'7" kid who's got 6 points already so far today. And coming back into the game is big guy number 3, Isaac Basie, a 6'11" kid from John Carroll School. They got some good size, 6'11", 6'10", 6'7", 6'7" up front for these guys.
And not to make
Baltimore.
it easy on you, almost every number changed coming into the game.
Yeah.
One of the things, folks, that once in a while will happen in grassroots basketball is the roster we're given is not necessarily the roster that will play the game. In this case, the players were all the right players. The numbers just changed.
Nice open jump shot and basket made by number 11, Tyler Barman. Tyler, 6'7" kid from Wisconsin Heights area school.
But one thing is, we will get it to them right as soon as possible. Sometimes that may be the end of the first quarter, but we'll take care of it.
Yeah, reading my notes is like a chicken scratch. You think doctors have a hard time with their pharmacy pads. Yeah, we're in the same boat here.
You know, one of the things about the AAUs, and it's a great place to see great players. We have an opportunity, hopefully later on today, to see Ben Simmons, who many people now have moved to the #1 player in the class of 2015. Young man who's going to LSU, 6'9" forward who plays for E1 T1. We'll find out here when Megan gets back whether they made it into the quarterfinals tonight. His teammate, Antonio Blakeney, another top 10 player, a 6'4" guard who can flat out light it up. Malik Monk plays for the Arkansas Wings. They're another team that was vying for a spot in the quarterfinals. So great players across the board in this tournament. That's the history of this tournament over the years. And just to give you an idea, the top 2 picks in the draft have played in this tournament in the past for different teams. And another
past draft, we're talking about Andrew Wiggins and Jabari Parker.
That's right. And another young man who played in the draft, who was at one time thought to be one of those 3 guys, Julius Randle, who's going to play for the Lakers, was a young man who played in this tournament as well. So the best of the best end up playing in the AAUs at some point in their career.
There's a steal by Randy Miller, all the way, scoop it up and good. Nice move from coast to coast there for Miller. 6'2" guard from Mount St. Joseph High School in Maryland. Again, Baltimore Elite against the Wisconsin Academy. Wisconsin Academy in white. Baltimore Elite in the maroon. Game tied 21-21. Been a very close game throughout. Both teams playing very hard. They're very competitively matched. Nice drive, no good on the shot there for Kostrowski. Here comes Miller back the other way for Baltimore Elite. They'll leave it behind for Khalil Richard. His shot is no good. And a shot block. Here comes Anderson. Nice lead pass up ahead, laying it in, beautifully done. Cole Smits with the basket.
Another thing we'd like to remind everybody that this weekend it is the AAU Marathon here on TBCNets.com, the basketball channel network. And tomorrow we will have at 1:20 in the afternoon and at 2:40 in the afternoon the semifinals of the AAU Super Showcase Gold Juniors. And then starting at 5:20 in the evening through 9 o'clock, 3 games in a row, we'll have the Super Showcase Silver Championship in the juniors, the Super Showcase Gold Championship in the sophomores, and then we'll have the Super Showcase overall championship for the juniors. So that's tomorrow. And then on Sunday, it's the quarterfinals of the AAU National Championships starting at 5:20 right here on the basketball channel. And before that, we'll have quarterfinal games out of the 16 and under division as well, starting at 2:40 in the afternoon. So,
are you giving me Eastern times or Pacific times?
These are all Eastern times because, baby, where are we at?
We're in the Eastern time zone, but I live in the Pacific time zone, so I haven't adjusted yet. I just want to know where we're at.
All we got to do is know when to get up and when to be here.
Exactly.
That's our biggest problem.
Just don't call me late for dinner. That's all that matters.
You haven't missed one yet
Not
so
yet.
far since we've been here.
I gotta eat. I have a schedule, you know. Nice.
Well, you know, I understand. You're taking care of yourself. You have to. And with me, it's hit and miss.
2:55 here to go in the opening half, and Wisconsin's Academy has opened up now a 2-point lead. Really, the biggest lead in the game has been about 4 points. Been a very tight game. 25-23, 2:50 to go. There's Bracey with it. Gives it off to number 11, Khalil Richard. His jumper is up and good, and we're tied again. 25-25. We've seen about 6 or 7 games so far, Van, since we've been here. This is the best game we've seen so far. These teams are actually playing fundamentally very well.
Fundamentally sound, passing the basketball, a lot of picks, a lot of screens being set, a lot of motion out here. It's kind of fun to watch. Of course, you would expect that from a team from Wisconsin. I will tell you, they will pass you to death, these teams out of Wisconsin, and you know,
are they running the Bo Ryan playbook, you think?
There's a lot of that, yes, and you know, there's a lot of that rugged style that Buzz Williams used to have there at Marquette, and I think that the two combined really make this teams pretty tough when they come to play and war with you.
There's a battle for a basketball, loose ball. And ironically, you don't think of these two states as being competing teams in basketball, but they will be. The state of Wisconsin and the state of Maryland. Their universities will both be in the Big Ten.
That's right. The Big Ten is bringing in the University of Maryland. The Terrapins will become part of their league. You know, how many teams are in that league now? I know it says 10, but is it like 12, 13, 14?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. No one.
You know, they are institutions of higher learning, but they can't count.
Yeah, you get that, especially the BCS conferences. You know, they're really confused. The Big 12 has 10. The Big 10 has 12 and going up.
At least the Pac-10 changed their name to the Pac-12.
Yes, and then they almost confused themselves, and we're going to go to 14 and then backed off of it.
Right. So the Big Ten got around there. They just changed their logo to the Big 1G, the B1G. And I don't know, they're going to have 14 teams now, aren't they, or something like that? So Rutgers coming in there as well.
Yeah, it's almost beyond belief. Pretty soon they can just call themselves the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Nice putback up and good by the big guy, Mark Tertzy, 6'10" kid. Again, all the players here on the Baltimore Elite team, part of the 2016 graduating class. And for the Wisconsin Academy, the vast majority also from 2016, except for one player who is from the class of 2018. And I'm going to assume that's the younger brother of Sam Hauser, Joe Hauser, as we said earlier.
And I'll tell you what, looking forward to seeing a little bit of him on the floor just to get a good feel for where he's at in comparison to his brother.
There's an offensive foul. Not happy with that call at all was Trevor Anderson, I should say. 27-25, Baltimore Elite on top. You see the chyron there with the score and the time. So if you do happen to catch us not speaking a lot, because we have 6 games to cover today, we'll do full play-by-play for 4 of the remaining 5 games for you. And in this particular game and one of the others, we're just going to make sure we mention the kids and give them a little exposure and give you a chance to get a feel for what's going on here at Freedom Hall in Louisville.
Yeah, we want to make sure they know who is on the court, but beyond that, we're not going to get as in depth into these games as we might. We'll give you kind of a lineup of what is going to go on the rest of the day, the rest of the weekend, on into the first part of August.
David Arabar's shot is no good. A little bit of an air ball actually there. So with 38 seconds to go here in the half, 27-25.
And we'd like to, in essence, do a thank you to Scott Parrodin and the crew in the back who are putting all this together and giving us this great stream that we're seeing right now. A lot of hard work that goes into this, and I will tell you what, they've done a great job with us. Yeah, right there, the guys we talked about earlier, past AAU championship players. Jabari Parker from Duke, who's now, of course, in the NBA. Andrew Wiggins, a Kansas star who doesn't know where he's going to play, although he just signed a contract with the Cavaliers.
For the next 29 days, he'll be in Cleveland.
That's right. And then Julius Randle, a Kentucky star, who's going to be out there playing with Kobe Bryant. And hopefully will become a guy that enjoys the playing with Kobe.
No, I look at that list. Now, first of all 3 are great players. But I think Julius Randle is going to be the new Charles Barkley of the league. He's going to be that kind of guy to me. He's going to be a force on the inside. He's not, he's a little bigger than Barkley, but he's going to have that kind of physical presence. Plus, he's left-handed. I think he's going to have a great career.
Well, I think that if he understands that hard work equals wins and equals dollars, that will exactly happen. Julius has always been kind of an up-and-down kid over the years. Great talent.
But you saw when he asserted himself in the tournament last year, he was unstoppable.
That's what I mean. He's an up-and-down guy. When he does that, he is that.
They're just pups. They're 19 years old. Part of that maturation process.
Dude, let me put it to you this way.
Oh, nice shot.
I ran Future Stars basketball camp for almost 20 years.
Sam Hauser with a nice shot.
And they started as 6th graders, and the first thing I'm preaching to them is play hard.
Right.
Play hard every minute. That's what makes great players. he has everything to be just what you said. I just want him to learn that it's consistent effort that gets that. That's why Kevin Love is a 25-15 dude.
Nice shot there by Sam Hauser. And he got the reward with the and one. Game tied again at 27. And Wisconsin, one thing about these Wisconsin kids, they make their free throws, man. We saw that the other night, the guys weren't making free throws.
They will make shots. That's the thing that makes them very scary to ball clubs with great athletes.
3 at the buzzer is no good. That was by Khalil Richard. And we've come to the half, a very hard-fought and competitive first half with Wisconsin Academy leading Baltimore Elite 28-27 here in the 16U Super Showcase Gold game. Welcome back to Louisville, Kentucky, alongside the guru Van Coleman. I'm Brett Grant, and we do have some updated games for you we'll be able to give you as we're kind of scrambling around, figuring out who we're covering later on today. But going to see a couple of really nice games coming up later on today, Van. First of all, at 4 o'clock, our next game here from the 16U Super Showcase Gold will feature UA Grind against King James, one of LeBron James's team. And in fact, we'll have a doubleheader of King James. We'll have the older King James team at 5:20 in the 17U division taking on Expressions Elite, who we saw earlier today. Looked like a pretty impressive team.
Yeah, beat a very, very good All-Ohio Red team, and very controlled. They play hard. They take that extra pass. Maybe a little bit of an anomaly when we come to some of the older kids. They beat King James. I think talent-wise, player per player, you might even give King James a little bit of, All-Ohio Red a little bit of an advantage in that game. But Expressions Elite is beaten by passing the basketball, setting screens, doing the right things. So they're going to be a tough game for King James. King James, another talented team, can get up and down. So we're going to enjoy that one, and it's going to be a good one. And then I think right after that, we get Alabama Challenge going up against Howard Pulley. E1T1, we thought Ben Simmons was with him. We got told that he was not, and they got upset by Howard Pulley. Unfortunately, a couple really top-notch players on that E1T1 team that we're not going to get to see this in this tournament.
Well, hey, upsets are part of the game. And then coming up at 8 o'clock, BABC, who we saw earlier. They'll be one of the featured games that'll be on DirecTV and part of the Universal Sports Network games. BABC will play the winner of the All-Iowa Attack and or Pocket City basketball. That game is yet to be determined.
And I'm kind of hoping it's All-Iowa Attack just because that's my home kids. But
I kind of figured you were thinking that way, yeah.
But a very talented basketball team. And All-Iowa Attack will remind you a lot of this Wisconsin team you're seeing, except they're bigger, stronger, and another year older.
30-29 as we are underway here in the third quarter from Freedom Hall in Louisville. Alongside Van Coleman, I'm Brett Grant. Wisconsin Academy up by 1 point. Been a very tight game, back and forth. I think the biggest lead has been about 4 points. And each team has really done a nice job with some outside shooting and some inside play. And both teams playing strong, hard defense as well, Van.
Yeah, they are. You know, the fun thing about watching the younger kids is, as we said earlier, they play together. They do the things they got to do. They don't seem to have that it's about me attitude quite as much. And that's what makes them fun to watch.
The other thing, if you compare sports, and you know my background as a baseball guy, along with basketball. In baseball, kids play up. They'll play in the 18U division. There'll be a 16-year-old playing up. Here, not as many kids playing up, from a division standpoint. They tend to stay in their class.
AAU play, it tends to be a little bit more that way, okay. Because this is a tournament that's about winning a national title and having that opportunity to do that. Some of the other situations in grassroots throughout the spring, you will see the 16s playing with the 17s, getting that opportunity to play it against another level player. Because then when you drop back down, it's kind of like when you pick up 2 bats,
right?
And you put that extra weight on it and you swing it a little bit and you take the 1 bat back and you go out with your regular one and it feels like the toothpick. That's part of the logic of it. You get a chance to play against better players and then come back and play against guys your age. Sometimes that gives you an ability to dominate, and that's what you want to create in your younger kids.
Well, but I would think, though, in this tournament, the vast majority of the kids that are playing in this division we're seeing here at 16U are pretty much already varsity basketball players at their respective high schools.
Yeah, but varsity basketball play is one thing. Big-time national play is a whole different level. It's like playing locally and then going out and playing internationally. It's that same difference of level of play. You go from playing in a college team and go out and play pros internationally when you make your tour. It's a little different situation. That's why once in a while college teams that are pretty good go out and get thumped occasionally when they go across overseas, because they're playing against older guys, 6, 7 years older. It makes a difference. The age group, 1 year, 2 years in this age group is the same as 5 years when you're dealing with a college kid.
So the structure of the basketball is much like in the structure of the soccer, same kind of thing. You have premier level, elite levels, and on down the line, then by every age group as you go as well.
Yes.
Okay. There's a basket on the inside, scored by number 3, Isaac Basie, a 6'11" incoming junior at John Carroll School. A lot of these kids from the Baltimore area. And the other kids from the Wisconsin Academy from the Stevens Point, Wisconsin area. Enjoying the nice weather down here in Louisville and playing some great basketball. Nice drive.
That's right.
To
Man,
the basket there.
Really pushed it. I mean, he's
Khalil
quick,
Richard, yeah.
going end to end.
We seesaw back and forth at 33-32. Coming up in our next game, we mentioned King James against UA Grind. We'll do a full play-by-play for that particular game, plus or is it going to be that one similar to this one? I can't remember what we're doing today.
This one will be similar to the next game. Will be similar to this one. It's a 16 and under Super Showcase.
Then we're going hardcore for 4 games in a row.
And then we go the quarterfinals of the 17 under Showcase Gold.
Another nice move on the inside and a basket there, scored by number 5, DeQuan Bracey. He's had a nice game. Made some outside shots, got some nice moves into the basket as well. And once again, we're tied at 35. Nice outside jump shot. That's for 2 by Sam Hauser, who's had a nice game for Wisconsin.
Sam Hauser's one of the players that I think Greg McDermott from Creighton is here watching. Guy that reminds him a little bit maybe when he watches him play of a young man that he coached for 4 years by the name of Doug McDermott.
Kid he had to feed for about 18 years.
I think he had to feed him for all 21. So
yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. That's because Mom says, you come on by the house.
Oh, yeah. Mama wants Doug, you be going home when Mama wants it. I know that. I know the family very well. I've known Greg for a long, long time. He worked for me back in 1988, 89, in that time period, and took his first college job coming right out of our office up at North Dakota.
Bodies flying all over the place. Looks like Trevor Anderson got an elbow to the head. He doesn't look too, he looks like he's struggling a little bit. Yep, he got hit in the mouth and probably the nose area. And a couple of players for Baltimore Elite went down. As Anderson's working his jaw as he goes down the court. Still is. Right side of his face. He did get the basket, but that helps. Makes you feel a little better.
That's all right. He'll be fine. He made the basket.
Yeah. Team leads by 4, 39-35. Looked like he got stung across the cheek, the ear, the mouth, the nose. He got it all over. Yeah, he says, I'm all right. Referee was making sure he's okay. He got his bell rung a little bit.
He got his ear popped a little bit, too. He's had his finger in his ear trying to get that thing to quit ringing.
Yeah, he's squinting his eyes. He got buzzed pretty good. You see a little zone defense, which we haven't seen much of so far this tournament from Wisconsin.
You know, coach is trying to give him a little different look. Really nice drive. I'll tell you what, that young man can get to the hoop in a hurry.
Khalil Richard with the drive and lays it off for the easy basket for Mike Turtsey, 6'10" kid. What do you see so far in this particular van, guys, of guys that might stand out to you? You mentioned Khalil a little bit. Khalil Richard, number 11 for Baltimore Elite. You mentioned Hauser, number 10 for Wisconsin Academy. Anybody else?
Well, so far I'm waiting to see one of the big guys for Baltimore start to exert himself. You know, they look great getting up and down the floor. They run well. They're long, but I want to see them get a little bit tougher and create a little bit more for themselves around the basket. I like the look. I just need to see a little bit more of them.
With the basketball now is Randy Miller over to the right side in the lane there for Bracey. There's a jumper by Khalil Richard. It rims the iron no good. Richard is a 6-foot kid from St. Francis Academy outside of Baltimore.
Nice looking lead guard. I think that if he doesn't get caught up in trying to be too much of a scorer, I think he'd be a really nice player for A10 type school.
There's Bracey all the way, scooping up, no good, and a foul. Bumped by Hauser on the drive. Now these guards for Baltimore Elite, though, they can get down the floor quick.
Yeah, they do. They really push it. That's one of the things that I think Wisconsin has to control the tempo and keep the game at their pace. If it gets to the other team's pace, they'll rush shots, they'll miss a few. Next thing you know, they can run 6-8 off in a hurry.
Northwestern coach Chris Collins hopping here on coach's row.
That's right, and the former Northwestern assistant, Paul Swanson, who works with me, getting a lot of congratulatory handshakes down there as they remember their own.
Yep.
Matter of fact, he worked at Northwestern with Ricky Birdsong.
Yep.
When he was there.
Here's Pop with it. John Pop from Homestead High School, behind the back, picks up his dribble, looks for a friendly face, finds Trevor Anderson. Looks like he's got his faculty's back, does Trevor. Took him a couple trips down the floor. Swinging around, that was Trey Reckner with the basketball. Now back to Anderson. So Baltimore exerting themselves defensively, really coming out and challenging here. Now we got a 5-second violation. There you go. They got the turnover they needed. Back to a 1-point game and a chance for them to take the lead.
Yeah, they've been really forcing the tempo here the last 3 or 4 times they've had the basketball, really trying to attack and get it to a full court game. And one of the best ways to do that is with your defensive structure. If you can put pressure out top, make them make a bad pass or two, next thing you know, turnover, a couple buckets, game changes.
Probably a question for Paul, more so than you, Van, but how difficult for a guy like Chris Collins to recruit the right player to get to Northwestern. Number one, the kid's got to qualify academically. You have to succeed and do well in the classroom academically at Northwestern just to be able to get on the court. It really thins their pool down of what they're looking at, doesn't it?
Well, the thing you have to do is you have to find Chris Collins. You got to go out and find players like him. He's got to find guys like himself in the backcourt.
And he went to Duke.
That's right.
He was from right down the street.
But understand it. That's the guy you got to go find, and then you have to hope that Stanford, Duke, others, you're going to be able to win some of those battles, and that's the real key, because you have to have a student athlete of a certain level to get through Northwestern, and you're not going to get the one and dones. So you got to get guys, as Duke did when Mike Krzyzewski went there, as Stanford has done over the years. You have to establish yourself, go find the right players, and it's not an easy process. If they're patient, he comes with a pedigree because of where he's been that says, I can do that.
Well, at Northwestern, we know one of the nice play on the inside by Pop. He gets fouled, but Northwestern's never qualified for the NCAA tournament. So and obviously they play in a great league, probably one of the best leagues, if not the best, in the Big Ten. They've never gotten there.
Yeah, and you know they had a pretty good argument maybe that the one
couple years ago,
a couple years ago they could have made it. Unfortunately, they didn't get the nod. But I think Chris is looked at it the right way, and so far in their early recruiting, it's starting to pay some dividends. So I think that the thing is, it's going to be a slow process. The program's a lot healthier now than it has been in the past when someone's taken it over. And so I think there was a decent base. If he can build on that, he's got a chance to build him into a very consistent winner, but a tough league to come out of. But you can be the 7th best team in that league and make it to the tournament. So I think that's the way you got to look at that.
Yeah, hopefully throughout the course of the day today, we do have a third microphone. We'll be able to grab a couple of these coaches and have them visit with us for a few months. We obviously can't talk about the kids on the floor that they're recruiting, but we can talk to them about their programs and where they see their teams coming next year. We know Northwestern style a year ago, Van, they really kind of slowed things down quite a bit. And I think Chris talked about it. He goes, it's the only chance we had to compete last year was really slowing some stuff down.
Well, until you have talent, you have to do that. And I think there's a lot of coaches. I remember even back in going back to some of my early days, and Lute Olson at Iowa, his first few years, that was it. You back it out, you control it, you run that 4 corners, and you run the risk of falling apart sometimes when you run that 4 corners, but they did that to stay in games. If you kept yourself close, you had a chance to win doing that. Now, as you got better and you got more talented, and you got a Ronnie Lester, they ran. And I think it's the same thing. You got to find that one guy that takes you over the top and then build the program to that.
They also had some injury issues a year ago, so they really kind of limited their depth and what they had available. 6 seconds to go here in the third quarter. A seesaw game, now 40-40, as Trevor Anderson tries to give the Wisconsin Academy the lead back, and he makes a free throw to do just that. High arcing shot, drawing nothing but nylon.
Well, as we said, those young men from Wisconsin, they do shoot.
We did have a nice dunk on the other end from Isaac Basie. We'll get you a replay of that if we can. 2 points lead as Anderson makes them both, and he gets a well-deserved rest. He had a shot to the chops earlier. So we'll get the final 5 seconds here of the quarter. Curtis Williams inbounds it to DeQuan Bracey, who grabs it at half court. Bracey right into the lane, kicks it back out top. Three-point shot on the way at the buzzer is short from Curtis Williams. And the third quarter comes to a close, but a very hard-fought game thus far. 42-40. Wisconsin Academy on top of Baltimore Elite. Fourth quarter underway here from our first of 6 games at the AAU Nationals, as we are at legendary Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, alongside the guru Van Coleman. I'm Brett Grant, and one of the things we're going to have is a three-point shot by Khalil Richard to get things started here in the fourth quarter, and right back into the lead. Should be 43-42, but now they're going to call that a 2, it looks like. No. And we'll get the score back up there. But, Van, one of the things we talked about is all the coaches that are here recruiting and watching players throughout the day. Hopefully we're going to get a chance to talk to a few coaches as well, so stick around for that, folks. And I think we have one guest coming up here at the end of our first game.
Yeah, we're planning on having Chris Collins, the head coach, the new head coach at Northwestern, who of course was at Duke for years as an assistant and played at Duke, and was one of the top high school players in the country back in the day out of Illinois. And of course his dad Doug coached the Bulls, and I guess it's just it was in his blood to be a coach. He's taken on one of the toughest jobs in the country, and we want to talk with him a little bit about his philosophy about building that program.
Yeah, his dad, I was in Chicago at the time when his dad was there coaching, living up in that area, and of course Doug was then no longer the coach of the Bulls, and that's when the Bulls went on the run. Phil Jackson came in, and you felt like Doug was the guy who got him there, and then Phil got all the glory.
Well, sometimes that is the case, and as you know, sometimes it's just about personalities, and in the pro game especially, it's not the same as in college where the coach basically he runs the program. He makes the decisions because it's all about his system, and the players he brings in have to fit that system. In the pros, it's who you get, how you get them, and then sometimes it's the personality of the guys that you have to have playing for you that determine who ends up being the coach. And that's the situation I think Doug got caught into. He did a great job getting him to 50-plus wins, and to get over that hump, for whatever reason, people thought they took a different voice, and that's just what happened. It wasn't that he did a bad job, because he had them in the playoffs and they were winning 50 games.
Well, he was also running up against the Detroit Pistons and Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer and those great teams with Joe Dumars and Mark Aguirre. And it's just one of those things. The NBA
but that was tackle football back then.
Yeah, it was. But the NBA has always kind of been that way. It's always been kind of there's a nice steal by Bracey. He'll take it coast to coast and lay it in, and it's a 5-point lead now for a Baltimore Elite. But the NBA really is like that from the standpoint of it is, you take one step up the rung of the ladder, and then you get knocked back down. And the next year you take 2 steps, and somebody else, whether it's the Celtics or the Lakers or the Pistons or the Bulls, somebody's knocking you right back down until you finally get to the pinnacle, and then it's your turn to knock teams down for a couple of years.
Well, yeah, that's true, and I think that's it's like anything. You're always trying to emulate the top team that you have to play, because that's the team you have to beat. You have to find the ways that you do that. All those personnel changes they make are usually done for that reason, and then when you get just to the point where you think you got it done, then LeBron goes to another team,
right.
and that makes it totally different. And now the structure will be again different. If you're in the West, you're figuring out how to beat San Antonio. So far, nobody's done that on a regular basis, and that's why they're still there, even though they're getting a little older. They're still at the top of that league.
3-point shot by Seth Kostrowski, and it's 47-45. Baltimore Elite on top. Just under 5 minutes to play in the game. Here from the 16U Super Showcase Gold event at Freedom Hall. There's a traveling violation. And there you see our score back, 47-45, 4:45 to play in the game. I tell you what, one thing, you mentioned San Antonio, and nobody talks about San Antonio. If you go back the last 15, 20 years.
That's because they don't listen to Ball and Live.
But they are, without question, and it's not even close, the best franchise in sports in the last 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, they've done it the right way. They've done it through developing and picking the kind of players that fit their coach. I've always said in the NBA, and this is and you brought up Doug Collins. It's a great example. Coaches do not always get the opportunity to coach players that fit in the round holes and the square holes of what they want in a team. They get round pegs for square holes, square pegs for round holes, and they have to figure out how to make it work. That does not build a winner. San Antonio gave Greg Popovich all the right round holes and square hole pegs, and that's why that team fits together and continues to win with that. They do the same thing all the time.
Randy Miller, there's a good look at Randy. Another three-point shot. He's got 2 here in the quarter, and Baltimore Elite leads by 5. Here's Anderson out top. We got a whistle and a foul as Katrowski was fouled. Neither team in the bonus yet. 4 minutes to play in the fourth quarter.
You know,
each team now with 5 team fouls.
And you never know where it's going to come from in games like this. You know, you look at Baltimore Elite, they got a lot of long, quick players. They got tremendous speed at the guard court. And the next thing you know, somebody comes out and hits a couple threes and the game changes.
There's a shot, no good. And now Baltimore Elite, with their largest lead of the game at 5 points, a chance to make it 8 on this trip. As Khalil Richard brings it across the timeline. Finds Bracey. Quan down low, dump it down low. Shot blocked by Tercey, and he gets it right back up and puts it in. 7-point lead, 52-45. Here's Anderson. As Wisconsin's got a little cold, there's a bad shot by Anderson.
That wasn't the shot he wanted. They want to be a little more patient, get a better shot. Right now, Wisconsin needs to look for Sam Hauser. He's the difference maker for them. They've got to get the ball in his hands. They got to find ways to make shots for him. He's a guy who can get them back in this game in the last 3 minutes and 14 seconds.
And a timeout has been called. 3:14 to go in the game. 52-45. Baltimore Elite on top, and they're on top because of number 1, the big guy, Randy Miller, 6'2" guard from Mount St. Joseph High School in Baltimore. Made a couple of big 3-point shots to extend a 1-point lead out to 7. We've got 5 other games for you coming up today. Our next game here on the 16U Super Showcase Gold will be the game between King James and UA Grind. That comes your way at 4 o'clock. And then later on today, we've got a bunch of other great games coming up for you, including another game involving King James. This will be the older King James team in the quarterfinals, Van. They'll take on Expressions Elite at 5:20. Then Alabama Challenge and Howard Pooley at 6:40. And we got a couple other games coming up later on tonight as well.
You know, yeah, we're still waiting for some results on a couple of those games. But I'll tell you what, folks, the quarterfinals are going to be wars. Every game will be highly contested with a lot of Division I players. I'm expecting, like last night, we're going to have 80 to 100 coaches in this gym for some of these games.
If not more. You see logos from all over the country.
I tell you what, there's a lot of names on a lot of shirts around here. And they look like guys because of the clipboards and the big packets they're carrying. That they're coaches.
But they're from they're from every conference. I mean, you got guys from the Patriot League to the SEC and the Big 10, of course, we talked about. Big 12. I haven't seen many guys. Well, I can't even say that because I was going to say I haven't seen anybody from the Pac-12 yet. But then Johnny Dawkins was sitting right next to me. There's right on cue, as Van said. Sam Hauser buries a 3. Back to a 4-point game. You've done this before. You've seen a couple games.
Yeah, you know who the guys are that are going to make the difference. By this point in the game, if I don't know that, I've either been sleeping or I've been out of the gym and taking a potty break. So it's one of those things. There's no way you get to this point in the game, I'm not going to know.
Nice. Obviously, you got to give the coach credit there as Lee Krastowski called that play out top. Got Hauser the open 3.
Well, and that was why he was frustrated with the play before, because the play before, if you're patient, you get the same shot. If you get the same shot, now you're down 1 rather than down 4. And that's the real difference.
Tyler Barman checks out of the game. John Pop back into the game for Wisconsin. Here's Richard in the backcourt, brings it across. 4-point game with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to play. Richard's had a nice game. He's bumped and fouled by Anderson.
I tell you what,
Each team with 16 fouls. That should be the 7th, and we should be in the bonus.
Richards and Bracey are a very tough matchup for the Wisconsin guards, quickness-wise. You've almost got to want them to take a shot that they feel they can make, but maybe they can't. You don't want to put them at the free throw line and make it easy for them. I always say it's a lot easier shooting when nobody's guarding you.
Those guys are also teammates at St. Francis Academy, so it's a tough backcourt to deal with all the time.
Yeah, it is. No doubt about that.
Richard makes the first. Back to a 5-point game. 2:23 left to go on the clock. You're watching the AAU Nationals from Louisville, Kentucky, right here on the basketball channel. Second free throw is no good, so a 5-point game. Chance here for Wisconsin Academy to get it back down to a single possession.
Okay, now I'm going to unconfuse it. This is the AAU Super Showcase, 16 gold. We get to the Nationals on Sunday.
Okay, fair enough. I'll just say we're at the AAUs. You can fill in the blank. How about that?
All right, that'll work.
All I know is I'm sitting center court at Freedom Hall, and I keep looking for Denny Crum.
Denny Crum, Daryl Griffith, Jerry Eves. I mean, there's
Bill
a lot of
Wagner. Where are these guys? Where's never nervous Purvis Ellison when I need him?
Well, yeah, or Jerry Hall, who I'm still haven't forgiven for bumping Ronnie Lester in the back.
I was going to ask Johnny Dawkins about that 1986 National Championship game. That was him. That was Duke and never nervous Purvis. I didn't feel like I didn't want to get punched by Johnny Dawkins, though. I was a Duke fan back then.
You are a rabble rouser. You're always causing problems, no matter where you go.
I tell you what, in 1986. I was a freshman in college, and Duke was the team I was rooting for, and I loved watching Johnny Dawkins shoot the basketball.
You know, one of the things here, and not to change the subject, but to change the subject, is the fact that this Baltimore club, they step up and they make free throws.
Yes,
and that's a real key when you've got quick guards like they have. That's the kind of thing that can win championships for you.
7-point game, and now Wisconsin is fouling in the backcourt, and that'll send Randy Miller to the line as they missed that last 3-point shot on the right side.
Now we'll see if I jinxed him. The Van Coleman jinx is on. There is no doubt about that.
Is that as powerful as the Sports Illustrated cover jinx?
No, not quite, but it's right in the ballpark.
All right, we'll find out. A little more obscure.
I tend to be a little more obscure than a lot of things.
It's like those guys that show up on the Madden cover of the video games. The next thing you know, they blow out their knees.
And you never hear from them again.
Exactly. Free throw's good by Randy Miller, so he is immune to your jinx.
Well, I guess one thing, my evaluation was correct then. See, I can't be wrong either way.
Well, I think it's the purple shoes. Look at those shoes.
They could make you immune. Yes.
Yeah. We got purple shoes. We got neon green shoes. We got all kinds of shoes out here.
Yeah, the kids today
I never got into
definitely love the colors.
Well,
they love the colors.
You would think the teams would have some uniformity, but they don't. They let the kids. It doesn't matter. They let the kids wear what they want.
As long as they got a swoosh or 3 stripes or an H. That U and A that looks like an H. I mean, they don't care. That's the deal.
Gotcha. 9-point game, 57-48. Baltimore leads pulled away now by 3 possessions, and they turned over again to Wisconsin Academy. And this one's getting away from them with the final 98 seconds or so of the basketball game. Wisconsin Van kind of came out of their disciplined shell there and turned it over.
They started to play the tempo that Baltimore was creating. When you play that tempo and you're not used to it, the next thing you know, you're taking a shot too quick. You're putting the ball on the floor and attacking the basket when you normally would be making the extra pass. Those are the kind of things that pressure can create, and the quickness on the floor, I guess they finally succumbed to that, because to me, the way you fought that was exactly as we suggested and the coach suggested, and that is to be patient and get to Sam Hauser and keep doing that, and don't worry about the clock up there.
Curtis Williams makes the first free throw. Kid from Riverdale Baptist School, 6'1". Misses the second. 10-point game, 58-48. Need some baskets quick, does Wisconsin. Here's Anderson with it out top. Finds Hauser, long range 3, no good. And rebound out of there by Williams, and he's fouled. And this one is all but over.
Yeah, I think the fat lady's over in the corner warming up. She's getting her throat cleared because this one is getting close.
Cough drops for her if she needs some.
Yeah, well, we could. I've got one right out here she could have right now. So that will work for her. But the big thing here for the Wisconsin kids is that, you know, for 27 minutes, this was an even basketball game, and they did a great job. The thing is that sometimes quickness, as some people would tell you, kills. And in this case, that's what they got caught up in it. And unfortunately, the last 5 minutes of this game have been all about the quickness of Baltimore Elite and their ability to make shots and make free throws.
There's Curtis Williams again, back to the free throw line. Good look at Curtis. Misses both the free throws, however. So it stays a 10-point game. Here's Anderson. They can get a basket here, get a press and a turnover. Here's Anderson with the basket right from the left elbow. Down to an 8-point game. We've seen crazier things happen, Van. Last night we saw a couple of games that 7-point leads evaporated very, very quickly.
Only a 7-point lead in 58 seconds.
Right.
Evaporated. Matter of fact, they even lost the lead, lost it back in that quick a time. So anything is possible. Right now, I think the thing, if I'm Baltimore, I'd try to take the air out of it a little bit. If they shoot free throws like they've been shooting it, they'll hold on here. But Wisconsin, that time, got a good shot. Wide open three. First opportunity, they took it, but it was a good shot, and they made that shot.
Well, it was helped by the fact that Baltimore Elite missed 2 free throws, and then they came down. So I guess your jinx was about a possession too late, by the way. And then Wisconsin came down and made the basket. And instead of being down 12 back to 10, now they're down 8.
Well, we just proved that the purple shoes only last for 1 possession at a time. You know, you only have immunity for a very short period.
Good point. Now, obviously, here for Wisconsin Academy, they've got to get some turnovers. They got to find a way to get a press, force the turnover, get a quick bucket,
and
maybe
folks,
some more missed free throws.
And folks, we are going to have fun. We are doing 6 games today,
yeah,
which is a long haul for anybody. And so we're going to have some fun while we're doing this. And
we're not loopy yet. We're just getting started. Here's Bracey gets it. Up ahead, they break the pressure. Up ahead for Miller. Now they're going to kick it back out top. Nearly knocked away from Williams. Down to Bracey. Nice ball movement here. Bracey with it back out top with 1:04 to go. Great work passing around the horn, and Williams does finally get fouled in the right-hand corner, but they ran 18 seconds off the clock before that foul happens. Good job there, ball movement.
Yeah, a really quick ball movement by Baltimore. They just showed that they can play that same kind of style. They can move the ball very, very quickly. They're not worried about scoring at this point. They knew that time was the factor.
Good look at Coach Jeff Smith over there on the right-hand side, leaning up against the scoreboard. And he needs Mr. Williams to make some free throws here. And there's the first.
Hit right on the back of the iron. You could hear that on the replay there. That was good.
Back to the purple shoes.
Yeah, good for 1 possession.
9-point game, 3 possessions, and stays 3 possessions. So Hauser rebounds. Then we'll see if Wisconsin Academy can knock down a 3 and make this interesting. Anderson had it knocked away and stolen. Nice defensive play there by Khalil Richard, and the dunk on the other end with authority from Bruce Moore.
Yeah, Bruce Moore said, not this time, baby. Took it up hard and threw it down.
Here's a jumper by Wisconsin Academy. Kostrowski's shot is no good, and a whistle and a foul. And this one is all over. 61-50. The Jellos are jiggling, the eggs are hard. And Chickern is not in the building. But we'll steal a couple of his lines if we can. There's the finish by Mr. Moore.
Chickern is not in the building, and the fat lady is now stepping up to the microphone. Yes. Kate Smith soon will be warbling away.
He could have done a little Dr. J. Chickern, rock the baby and slam dunk. That's how he called that famous Dr. J dunk against the Lakers that everybody's seen.
You know, as athletic as these kids out here are, I'm not sure we have a Dr. J.
Not yet.
So we might not see it, but the last dunk was nice.
It was nice. It's only one doctor, that's for sure. These are some good-looking shoes on number 11 here, Khalil Richard. He's got about 4. He's got orange, he's got green, he's got dark green. He's got it all going on there. And the purple socks, by the way.
Yeah, the purple socks.
He's a walking contradiction. 62-50, 30 seconds to play. Anderson's long jumper is short off the iron left side. And they're going to let the clock run out here. Up ahead for Moore, and he's going to say, no, okay, they won't let me dunk it now. So I'm going to hang on to the ball. And this one will come to a close with Baltimore Elite knocking off the Wisconsin Academy by 12 points, 62-50. But it was a much closer game than that, Van.
Yeah, it was. It was a very, very good game for the first 27 minutes. It was 42 all at one point, and unfortunately, we had a turnover right here at the end. The young man thought the game was going to be over. He dropped the basketball down, and it rolled out of bounds. So Wisconsin's going to get 1 more possession. So hopefully they won't make the difference in the score that you've already announced.
Yeah, I wrote down the score.
People are already going to the refrigerator, you know.
Right, exactly. They knew the Jello was a jiggler. All right, stick around. We've got 5 more games for you. These games do come in rapid fire succession. We're going to get a chance to talk with Chris Collins, hopefully, from Northwestern University here in just a second. We're going to get set up for that interview. And our next game is between King James and UA Grind, also a 16U Super Showcase Gold event coming up here in about just a few minutes, about 5 to 10 minutes. We'll get that second game tipped off.
feel like getting out with Disney.